Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're putting a really fascinating digital marketing launch completely under the microscope. We're looking at a piece of software that makes some massive, highly appealing promises, but is also wrapped up in some truly glaring contradictions. So let's dig into the PLR Rebrander No API tool. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What exactly happens when you find a piece of technology that elegantly solves a massive headache for digital creators, but the sales page selling it looks like it was, well, stitched together in a total rush? How do you separate the actual utility of the software from the sloppy marketing? That is exactly the puzzle we are going to try to solve today. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the PLR graveyard problem, then look at the Zero API solution, peek inside the rebranding engine, check out some red flags in fine print, decode the sales funnel, and then wrap it all up with the final verdict. All right, section 1, the PLR graveyard problem. To really understand why the software even exists in the first place, we got to look at a massive frustration almost every digital creator has faced. You know that feeling of digital claustrophobia? The overwhelming frustration of just sitting on gigabytes of private label rights or PLR content? You know those ebooks and guides you actually have the legal rights to resell, but they're just gathering dust on your hard drive? It usually happens because the manual PDF editing required to actually make them presentable and brand them as your own is an absolute soul-crushing nightmare. Let's break down exactly what that manual formatting nightmare actually looks like. When you do this by hand, you're usually wrestling with heavy, super slow editors like Adobe Acrobat. And mistakes, they are incredibly common. Have you ever downloaded an ebook, seen a gorgeous cover, but then you scroll to page 2 and find the original, ugly, outdated cover just sitting there? Yeah, that's the double cover disaster, and it literally destroys your authority in seconds. Plus, manually pasting your affiliate links into the footer of a 50-page document, that takes forever, and if you miss one, you're leaking potential profits. To avoid all this, creators end up outsourcing to places like Fiverr, spending $50 or more just to format a free lead magnet. It's a total Fiverr tax that just drains your wallet. Moving right along to Section 2, the Zero API solution. Enter the product we are analyzing today, which pitches itself as the absolute hero to this formatting problem. So the core technological hook of this software is that it runs 100% client-side. But what does that actually mean for you? It means the software runs entirely within your local web browser's memory. You are not uploading your precious files to some distant, sketchy cloud server, which is huge for your privacy. And, crucially, because it's not using external cloud computing or pinging an OpenAI server somewhere, there are absolutely zero ongoing API fees or monthly subscriptions. The initial offer here is actually super compelling. Why? Because it targets highly specific pain points instead of just throwing out vague, push a button and get rich promises. The pitch is that for a one-time $27 payment, you can drag and drop up to 10 PDFs right into your browser at the exact same time. The tool then securely processes them locally and automatically injects your custom links and footers across every single page. It's a very precise solution to a very precise, very annoying problem. Okay, Section 3. Inside the rebranding engine. We know what it promises, so let's see how this software claims to actually build your rebranded assets. The vendor outlines a highly focused 3-step workflow that's basically meant to replace all those miserable hours of Acrobat labor. Step 1, the engine automatically slices off that outdated page 1 cover and cleanly slaps on your new custom cover. Step 2, it takes your brand name, copyright text, and promo links and seamlessly stamps them across the footer of the entire document. Step 3, it exports the finished, market-ready PDF directly back to your hard drive. Boom, done. The whole end goal here is incredibly simple. Raw, messy PLR files go in, and a branded, cohesive profit asset comes out. The promise is that you can effortlessly erase the old author's identity and stamp your custom branding all over the document in just seconds. On paper, from a technological standpoint, it is an incredibly solid concept. But wait, here comes Section 4, red flags and fine print. Yes, the underlying tech is strong, but here's where the story gets kinda wild. Let's impartially look at what's actually hiding in the fine print. This is perhaps the most glaring issue of the whole launch. Up top on the main sales page, there is this massive, boldly written guarantee promising a full refund within 30 days. It literally says no hassle, no hoops to jump through. But if you scroll all the way down to the tiny legal disclaimer block at the very bottom of that exact same page, you'll find a completely contradictory policy. Down there, it suddenly says the guarantee is conditional, it's not a promise of payout whatsoever, and get this, you must show clear-cut evidence that you've done the work. For anyone buying this, it creates immediate confusion about which policy they'd actually honor. And honestly, that refund contradiction isn't an isolated incident. There's a whole pattern of red flags here. For example, the legal disclaimers repeatedly reference a completely different software product called eComSnap. Like, what is that even doing there? There are two entirely different checkout links embedded in the same FAQ section. The contact link at the bottom, it routes you to a totally unrelated third-party review website, and the joint venture page, the one meant for their affiliates, lists a launch date that is literally off by 2 full weeks. Now, to be fair, none of this proves the software itself doesn't work, but it undeniably shows a hasty, copy-pasted marketing execution that nobody bothered to proofread before hitting publish. It's super important to remember that visual trust signals, like a big, shiny, golden 30-day guarantee shield, are heavily designed to make you feel safe. But that feeling of safety really goes out the window when the buried legal text tells a completely different, much more restrictive story. It's just a great reminder for all of us to always read the fine print. All right, Section 5, decoding the sales funnel. Now that we've looked at the marketing page, let's unpack the actual cost structure once you click that Buy button. So this lays out the entire funnel broken down into the front end and the 3 upsells, or OTOs as they call them. The front end is $27 and gives you the core tool with a 10-file batch limit. OTO 1, the Pro tier, runs about $36. That increases your batch limit to 30 and adds neat features like 3D mockup generation. OTO 2, the agency tier, bumps the limit up to 50 files. And finally, OTO 3 is the white label tier for $67. One quick aside, there were actually some minor pricing discrepancies for the OTOs between the vendor's affiliate page and the live checkout, which, again, kind of points back to that sloppy launch execution. Now, a really vital distinction we need to make here is between the commercial license and white label rights. That $27 front end gives you a commercial license. That means you can use the software to format PDFs and then sell those PDFs to your own customers. But you cannot sell the software itself. If you want to put your own branding on the actual application and resell the software to other marketers, you explicitly need the white label rights, and that is locked behind the $67 OTO 3. The front-end purchase also claims to throw in a massive bonus vault of over 1,000 PLR ebooks across 39 different niches, which, hey, on paper, that's awesome. It gives you immediate raw material to test out your new rebranding tool. But just a quick heads up, there is really no way to independently verify the quality, the exact licensing terms, or how up-to-date these files actually are before you buy. It's probably best to treat that claimed $297 value as just, standard marketing math. And finally, Section 6, the final verdict. We've seen the impressive claims, and we've definitely seen the messy reality. So let's weigh the legitimate utility of the tool against its presentation. It really comes down to the core conflict we've been exploring today. On the pro side, you genuinely have a strong technological concept. An API-free local browser tool that bulk processes PDFs, that is an elegant solution to a very real, incredibly tedious formatting problem. And honestly, $27 is a pretty fair price for that utility. But on the con side, all that amazing utility is buried under a careless marketing wrapper that's full of contradictory refund terms, broken links, and copied and pasted legal text from totally unrelated products. So we'll leave you with this final thought. When you're out there trying to optimize your digital business, you're going to encounter situations exactly like this all the time. Is a highly useful piece of technology worth the risk of navigating a poorly executed, hastily thrown together launch funnel? Are you willing to look past some obvious copy-paste errors for the sake of getting a much smoother workflow? Well, we've laid out the facts, we've shown you the mechanics, and we've pointed out for red flags. The final call is absolutely yours. Thanks for joining us on this explainer, and we will catch